Hello everyone and welcome to my video. Today I want to talk to you guys about my own experience using my 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRT off-road as my daily driver. This is my daily commuter. This is my mall crawler, as many people like to say. And I just want to talk to you briefly about my own personal experience when it comes to not only owning this truck, but actually using it for my daily life. And I want to talk to you guys about the pros, the cons, and my own personal experience. Let's start with the sitting position, because I feel like that's a good way to start. And I want to tell you that all of these opinions that I have are my own opinions. Everyone has different likes. Everyone has different styles, and so let's just acknowledge that before we start. The sitting position. Many people say that sitting on a Tacoma makes you feel like you're sitting low to the ground and that you're sitting in a car. And I do have to say that depending on your height, the sitting position of the truck will either be a phenomenal experience or you probably would hate it. Now, I am 5'7". To me, the sitting position is just perfect because I'm not that tall and it works fine for me. And so depending on your height, depending on what you're used to driving, many people drive small cars, many people drive full-size trucks, SUVs. So depending on what you drive, the driving or the sitting position would be good or bad depending on how you're used to driving, I guess. So I can't complain about the sitting position personally. Now, let's talk about the cabin. The cabin is a pretty basic, beautiful, and practical and functional cabin, in my own opinion, because everything you need is right here, and it's easy to use. It's got big buttons. It's pretty practical and obvious, and nothing too fancy about it. Nothing too complicated about it. One of the things I hate the most about vehicles is when they make things too hard, too difficult to manage, too difficult to use, because I think that takes away from the focus, which should be on driving the vehicle. So for the Tacoma, I think it's a pretty practical cabin. It's pretty functional. Everything that you need is right here, and you don't have the extra fancy things that you might get in a luxury vehicle. So for me, it's a plus. The cups are small but functional. You get a little cubby right here. And this is the 6-speed automatic transmission, which we can actually talk about the transmission because a lot of people feel like this truck hunts for gears. And I want to show you really quick. Maybe it hunts for gears for some people, but I haven't had that experience. I'm going to do a 0 to 60 maybe trial here. Don't do this at home. And 60. So I don't know. I think for me, the truck has sufficient power. It has sufficient speed. I don't think I need more than that. A lot of people buy these vehicles and expect to have a sports car experience, and I just gotta be honest, guys, it's not gonna feel like a sports car. It might feel slow to you guys, it might feel heavy, because it's a body on frame vehicle, so you still get that experience. But the transmission does its job. It does what it's supposed to do, and it gets you going. It gets you up to speed. So I can't complain about the transmission. And obviously the engine, it's a Toyota engine that will last you for a long time. So if you're looking for something reliable, as you all know, Toyota Tacomas can go for a long time. So can't complain about the engine, can't complain about the transmission. This is a 2021, so I don't know if they tuned the transmission to do better, but for me, it's just perfectly fine. It could be faster, of course it could. It could always be faster, but again, this is a truck. I don't intend to use this as a racing vehicle, but also I'm not a crazy driver. I don't need a lot of speed. I don't need a lot of torque. I don't tow a lot either, so to me, it's perfectly fine. Now, it's gonna depend on what kind of driving experience you want to have. If you want to drive fast, maybe consider a sports car, maybe consider something else that's not a truck. To me, this is a working truck. It's going to do its job. It's going to tow, it's going to haul, it's going to go off-road, and it's going to do what I wanted to do when it comes to a truck. And so you should always consider that before getting a truck, because it will feel slow if you're coming from a car. It's going to feel slow if you're coming from a different kind of SUV, because Toyotas are not necessarily the fastest vehicles, but they are the most reliable, and they will get you far, far, far. A lot of miles you can put in a Toyota Tacoma and a Toyota 4Runner or whatever Toyota vehicle it is that you have. And so, yeah, I want to also talk about the functionality of the truck. I think the truck does what it's supposed to be doing. It hauls, it tows, it serves as a truck. You know, you can do truck things with this truck. You can actually go off-roading. And this suspension, which I want to talk about this suspension as well, this truck is tuned to be an off-roading vehicle. It has the TRD off-road package, so the ride might feel a bit more stiff than usual, and that's because I got the TRD off-road. If you want a Tacoma that doesn't feel as stiff and rides smooth, you probably should consider the SR5. You should probably consider the two-wheel drive as well. This is a four-wheel drive, and it's got suspensions. It's got the suspension tuned for off-roading in particular. So the ride, it's not horrible. As you can see, it doesn't shake. It's a really smooth ride to me, but it's not going to be as smooth as like in a car or in a different kind of SUV. So I think it's just something to know before you buy a Toyota Tacoma. It's depending on what kind of trim you get a different kind of ride experience. And so I also want to talk about the miles per gallon. I'm doing 16.1 right now, as you can see, and I've talked to you guys about that before. The miles that I get on this truck are just not that many. They're really bad. And so I just want you to know that if you're considering buying one of these, you should know that your MPG might not be the best. And that's something I'm fine with. I just filled the tank like a few days ago, and I'm almost half. So it is what it is. I decided to buy a mid-sized truck, and I can't complain about that, because this is, again, a vehicle that's body on frame and it's really heavy, and it's a truck. It's a working vehicle, so I can't complain about that. Now, the visibility is really good. I can see clearly around me, and I'm being safe, I promise. The visibility is great, so you will feel high when you ride this car, and which to me is a good thing. It's a safety thing. I really appreciate that as well. And something else that I want to talk to you guys about is obviously how safe the truck is. You can look at the numbers on safety, and you can see that the Tacoma might not be the safest vehicle, but you do get a lot of safety options as standard with every Tacoma. And you guys can go into the website of the Toyota website and actually read what kind of numbers it gets. And I think it's a phenomenal truck for what it is when it comes to safety as well. And so, yeah, that's my experience when it comes to daily driving this truck. It doesn't feel too big. It doesn't feel too small. And when it comes to parking it, it's easy to park. It's very quiet here in the cabin. I think you can notice that. And it's just a comfortable truck when it comes to driving it every day and utilizing it for commuting in the city, in town, etc. So that's my own personal experience. I do love the steering wheel. I think it's a pretty good looking steering wheel. I love it that it's chunky, and it has this design that just feels good when you grab it. Personally, it's a weird thing to say, but all the car enthusiasts will know what I'm talking about. And yeah, like I was saying, it goes up to speed if you need it to. Again, it feels slow, but it's powerful enough to me, I think. No, not I think. I do believe that to me is more than enough. And so, yeah, if you're considering having one of these trucks as a daily driver, just think about the different things that we talked about in this video, but also make sure you go and drive one for yourself. Go test drive at your local dealership and make sure that you know what it feels like to be on this cabin before you actually pay for it, because they are pricey, and with the dealership markups right now, you're gonna pay a really high premium price for one of these guys. So anyways, leave a comment down below. Let me know what your experience is. If you daily drive this Tacoma, let me know what you think. Let me know if you hate it. Let me know if you love it. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Ciao.